insults that some people use for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
I mean, Marvel vs.
Like,
Capcom Infinite isn't terrible. It's just the thing that hurt that game was the marketing. The marketing hurt that game. Like the marketing hurt that game more than anything else. And that's the sad thing because
I was about to say,
you
I
know,
thought it was the promotions. Like,
yeah, that's the marketing. The marketing hurt that game so much. And they also waited like really Capcom should have put that game out at the same time as Infinity War came out. That's when that game should have came out. That would have been the perfect time to get it out there. And they fucked around and put it out too early. So you know,
actually, I'm a little surprised at that line. Because if I remember
because
right,
even
one
if the
Marvel game came out too late, but now this is a Marvel game that came out too early.
yeah, well, I mean, okay, like I'll give an example, okay? Like the game is not terrible. It's okay. All right? It's legitimately okay. But it could have been like even like it would have been an okay game and it would have gotten enough sales because people would have been like, I want to support the movie, so I'm going to buy the game. And if they had done that part and parcel with the game, it like they could have been like, okay, like gotten people excited
Yeah,
about shit, but they
I was
didn't.
trying to.
So
I was saying that you you said it was too late when it came to that Marvel to that Marvel Avengers game,
well,
but then it was too early for the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite
yeah, Marvel Avengers came out too late. Like it should have been its own thing, and they shouldn't have tried to connect it to
to
like
Endgame.
well, they shouldn't have tried to connect it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like they kept on trying to connect it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's like, okay, first of all, you can't like Square Enix isn't going to put the money out to get these actors' likenesses. So your best bet is just to make it after the comics, which is what they did with Marvel. Marvel, the third installment of the Marvel Ultimate Diablo clone game that came out on the Switch. Like it's all just based on the comic book versions of these characters, which works. I mean, it's not as good as the originals, but it gets the job done. But before we go any further, we were just talking some shit because that's what we do sometimes. Let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first, and the gentleman. Then I'll introduce the topic, and then I'll introduce myself, and then the topics, and then we'll dive into it. Lady, starting with the ladies first. Sorry, lady first.
Thank you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the BS Busters End of the Week podcast. I am Joe Moonstar, and if you are in this heat, get some beeping ice.
Yeah, it's bad. Kenoshi?
That's Kenoshi Abominita here to say, I guess Quake is back.
Quake! And for $10 too. That is a really good deal.
Yeah, you get it, and it looks like I saw the trailer, and it's like looks like you get a lot of stuff for that $10.
Oh yeah, it gives you all of the shit that came with the game back in the day, all the expansions, all the extra shit. Quake 64, $10, $10. Just don't buy a coffee every morning for a week, and you will have a Starbucks coffee every day for a week, and you will have $10. You can buy this game.
The game was a graphical showcase at the time when it came out, wasn't it, for the PC?
Not really.
Not really.
No. Id Tech games were never a graphical showcase. They were more like level design and presentation. Now, if
So
you
in
want
short, it was basically the backgrounds and the looks, right?
if you wanted a game that was a graphical showcase for its time, that was more like, okay, there's a lot of shit going on here. You're gonna need Duke Nukem 3D. For its time, that game was really like you. Some people had to get a new graphics card to play that game. And of course, like the next gen after that was Crisis, and that was the graphical showcase game. That was the game. Like I'm like I'll have to build a computer in 5 years that can play this game at moderate settings. Quake was not like that. Quake is good, but it's not. It was id Tech games were never like, oh my god, my computer's gonna fall apart if I play this. Um, Of course, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Let's dive into it. We have quite a few well, not quite a few topics. We have a decent amount of topics. The first topic we have is Saints Row is being rebooted. Sony,
worrying, but
not really. I mean, if you've been playing like all the Saints Row games except for the first one because it was on the Xbox. I've never owned an Xbox.
the thing is that that recently we've heard when something is getting redone or remastered, well, that was a sinking ship.
I mean,
But,
not necessarily. I mean, they remastered the Mass Effect trilogy. That was pretty good. Sold remarkably well. They've remastered quite a few games, and they've turned out pretty well. So, I mean, it's kind of like some games that are remastered, it's awesome. Some games that are remastered, it's underwhelming. It just depends on how it's handled. But
if they handle this one good, I see this is going to end up like what you mentioned earlier.
well, they're not remastering Saints Row; they're just rebooting it because, like I said, if you've been playing the Saints Row series, which I have since the first game because I never played the first game because it was on the Xbox, and I refuse to buy an
four
Xbox.
versions, if I got it right. I mean, there's four shots in the series, if I got it right.
After that, yes. There's Saints Row 1, which I've never played. Then there's like spin-off games. Like I think one was on mobile or some shit. I never played any of those. But Saints Row 2, Saints Row 3, Saints Row 4, Saints Row Get Out of Hell. It's 5. That's 4 games. And then there's also after that Agents of Mayhem, which technically is kind of a Saints Row game as well because it's an alternate reality. I've played all of them, and they get ridiculous. Like, Saints Row 2 is, like, a better version of Saints Row 1. Saints Row 3 is, like, the start of the Saints Row series starting to get really fucking silly. But if you played Saints Row 3 and you're like, this is kind of silly, but I'm still enjoying it, they jumped the shark with Saints Row 4, because in Saints Row 4, the main character from the first, from 1, 2, 3... From 1, 2, and 3, saves the world from a nuclear launch, becomes president of the United States, and the world is invaded by aliens, and the president and his crew are locked into a
sitcom,
a virtual reality virtual reality, kind of like the Matrix, on the alien ship. And basically, they get a ship kind of like the Matrix where they can jack into the alternate reality and do shit in order to bring down the ship and save what's left of humanity. Because the Earth gets blown up, like, in the beginning of Saints Row 4. Like, the beginning. Like, you escape from your thing, you're like, we're gonna go... Your main character's like, when I get back to Earth, I'm gonna have Ultor build me all types of shit, and then I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna kill Zinyak. That's the main villain of Saints Row 4. He blows up the planet right as you escape the ship. It's like, oh shit, this is...
I was gonna say that was a D move, but well played.
Well, you do murder the shit out of Zinyak at the end of the game, as you were wont to do. It's a Saints Row game, but I mean, like, and the game after that was an expansion to Saints Row 4, where Johnny Gat and Kinsey Kensington go to hell to rescue the boss, your main character from the previous 4 games.
How they end up in that heck hole?
Well, the devil wants to get an evil person to marry his daughter, and he kidnaps the boss from Saints Row. That's it. I mean, Saints Row Get Out of Hell it's an expansion. It's only about 30% as long as the other games.
I'm trying not to laugh at that premise, because here the devil wants his daughter married to somebody that's just as dark.
Oh, ironically, his daughter is actually a really nice person. Yeah, it's weird. But anyway, so at this point, like, Saints Row has dug itself into a hole. The only way they can really make a new game is by rebooting it. It's the only way they can do it.
I can see where you're coming from, because if you went from video game to video game with all that kind of craziness, I'm not sure how you could top all that without hitting the reset button.
Well, I mean, at the end of Saints Row
3, 4.
At the end of Get Out of Hell, you basically after you defeat the devil, you get a book where you can basically choose. The devil's like, I can grant you any wish. And you can choose one of those wishes. One of those wishes is you go back in time and you prevent the destruction of the earth, or like you go back in time and you can rescue Johnny Gat's girlfriend Aisha, or like there's all types of little things you can go back in time and change. So I mean, you could kind of. I'm thinking when they reboot it, what I think they're gonna do is I think they're gonna use one of those things as canon, like you go back and like
one of those wishes as a cannon.
Yeah,
right?
Like the what I always thought would be cool is that one of those wishes is canon. You go back and prevent the destruction of the earth, but the thing is that everyone forgets that the Third Street Saints, like what your character did in the first game never happened. So everyone goes back to a time before all that shit happened. But your character, except your main character from those games that you make, is the only one who remembers all the shit they did, but no one else does. So they're locked up in an insane asylum, and they're like, they're crazy. It's like, no, really, I was the president of the United States. I saved the world from aliens. I took over 2 cities. It's like, no, you didn't. You're crazy, right? and that could be a way to reboot Saints Row. Now, of course, I don't think they're going to do that. We'll find out more next week during Gamescom. So, or more Gamescom, I think Monday. So either way, Saints Row is being rebooted. The more sandbox style GTA type games we get, the happier I am. Because Saints Row was a good alternative. It's like, okay, GTA 2 fucking serious. Okay, you have Saints Row. It's not like, because Saints Row, GTA used to not take itself, like it told a decent story, but it had humor to it and it didn't take itself too fucking seriously. Then GTA 4 happened, and GTA 4 takes itself way too goddamn seriously. Like, GTA 4 is like, we're telling a Shakespearean tragedy. I'm like, dude, it's a game about running around stealing cars and beating up hookers and fighting the police. Don't.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a game about being a professional criminal. Like, that's what? Really, guys?
I mean, you don't have to play it like that. But, I mean, San Andreas is the only one where, like, literally Carl Johnson starts out as a professional, as a semi-professional criminal, and by the end of the game, he basically goes legit. Because remember, in San Andreas, the whole impetus behind CJ and his family, the reason that all this shit goes about, the reason that Sweet was almost assassinated, is because Grove Street, run by Sweet, they don't want drugs being sold in the hood. They go around beating up drug dealers and shooting them and killing their asses. So,
yeah.
So really, I mean, Saints Row, San Andreas is the only one that has a protagonist that actually, like, you can kind of root for. Because Tony Cipriani in Vice City is a piece of shit. Claude from GTA 3, also a piece of shit. Nico Bellic is annoying. He's a war criminal. And Michael, Trevor, and Franklin. Trevor is a psychotic maniac. So yeah, Franklin. I mean, so no. So yeah, CJ, only character you can actually root for. Now, I'm glad they're bringing back Saints Row. I hope they take the lessons that they learned from Agents of Mayhem and other Saints Row games and learn from that. I hope that they make the next Saints Row game a bit more grounded. Like, I don't need superpowers. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. Now, if they want to add, like, DLC where you can get, like, a mech suit, like, advanced technology, okay, cool. But there needs to be a side quest associated with that where you earn some shit to do that. You don't just, yeah, I got a mech suit, yeah.
Yeah, by all the reviews I saw of Saints Row 4, that was one of the backside, it wasn't downsides, like, The superpower has made everything else superfluous.
Yeah, you didn't need vehicles. It's like, well, I mean, I could use this jet to fly across, or I could run up the side of this building, Hulk Ultimate Destructive style, jump off, and then glide, glide to where I want to go.
I was gonna say all those choices. Do you want to be vanilla? Do you want to be some chunky chocolate?
Yeah, the only time it made sense to use vehicles in the game was when you were hanging out with your homies and you wanted to have your main character hang out with your.
In a sense.
Well, you could drive with your homie and sing. Like if you listen to the radio, you'd sing along badly with your homie. Like that's one of the things of Saints Row starting in 2, where your main character will get in a car with one of their homies, like Pierce or Sean D or somebody else, and y'all sing a song together badly while driving. It adds a nice little bit of cinema verite to the game. It adds a little bit of atmosphere, shit like that.
I like it, and it actually made me chuckle.
Yeah, like if you go on YouTube, you can say you can look up like Saints Row 4, the boss and Pierce singing opposites attract, and it's like you can look it up. It's hilarious because they sing so badly, but they're totally into it. Or You've Got What I Need from Biz Marquee. Yeah, You've Got What I Need. So I mean, it's like little shit like that makes Saints Row. Like Saints Row never really started smelling its own farts like GTA did. And I don't like people were like, this could be a contender with GTA. I don't think that's gonna happen. But what I do think is if they reboot it, I think that they'll be able to create something that is a nice alternative to GTA. Because at this point, there needs to be alternatives to GTA. And no, Watch Dogs ain't it. Get the fuck out of here with this shit. Okay? Watch Dogs is a joke. Alright? How the fuck are you going to make a game where you drive cars and driving a car feels horrible? Horrible. I mean, driving cars in GTA doesn't feel great, but at least you have awesome music to offset that the cars feel sometimes a little weightless or drive poorly. But you don't even have that going on in Watch Dogs. Like the music is trash. Driving vehicles feels terrible. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah. So, anything else you guys want to say about Saints Row being rebooted before we move on to the next topic?
Just good luck to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's better than Agents of Mayhem, because that game is rough. It's rough.
And speaking of rough, I think we know what's next on the list. The roughness that Activision Blizzard's in.
Now we were going to talk about Sony. Apparently bringing more games to PC. Bringing more of their games to PC.
This I gotta hear.
Yeah, gamers who own PlayStation systems are getting mad that Sony is bringing more of their games to PC. And the only thing I have to say is, what else are they supposed to do? Because here's the thing. We already know that by and large, most people who own PlayStation devices are getting maybe one or two first-party games, a lot of third-party games, and streaming, right? That's what they use the system for. So, if that's the only reason people are playing, it's like Sony wants to make money off of their older titles too. So, and they're not going to put their games on Microsoft system. They're not going to do it. Or at least not directly, because if you have an x86 architecture PC that runs Windows, that's technically a Microsoft system too. But they're going to put their shit on PC. I mean, it's an untapped market for Sony. They're a business. They want to make money. Okay. Why is that a surprise? But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Seeing Sony go into PC, that's kind of weird, but kind of rich, considering some of the stuff that they pull off.
I mean, at this point, if you really are, you can, at this point, if you're mad about it, you can flip your PS5 for like $1,500.
Yeah.
Yourself a decent PC. Granted, if you can find a GPU, that's
Yeah.
not too far up there in price.
I mean, I'm just gonna. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They want to make more money, guys. That's what they're there for. They want to make more money.
We've got to have the money.
Even Nintendo has allowed certain of their big exclusives to go to PC.
Yeah, they put that Fatal Frame game on PC.
Yeah, and Wonderful 101, like, these companies want to make more money, guys.
Yeah, why are you begrudging companies making more money? Because here's the thing, okay? There are people who don't want to buy a PS4 or PS5. There are people who don't want to buy an Xbox, whatever. There are people who, for some reason, won't buy. The only company that can get by just on their first party shit is Nintendo. That's because their first party is strong. Okay, Nintendo's first party is the strongest in the industry. So you're never gonna see a Nintendo first party game legally on PC. I said legally, people emulate shit all the time, but legally, it's not going to be on PC. But Sony and Microsoft, I mean, Halo Infinite's coming to PC.
Yep, might be on PC.
Shit. I mean, it's coming incomplete. It's not going to have multiplayer it's not going to have it's not going to have co-op and Forge mode day one. Which means they're just putting this shit out here so that they have a big game for the holiday season. That's what this shit is. We need a big game for the holiday season.
I guess if I were you, if I were one of the people that was into the campaign, kind of be a little worried. Just they're obviously focusing purely more on multiplayer.
No, the multiplayer is a separate thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the multiplayer is free. It's its own separate thing, which means they're probably going to have cosmetics that you can buy for the shit, because they got to make money off of it. And I mean, like, I've always been into the Halo single player, and it looks like this Halo is taking a lot of cues from Metroid Prime. So many fucking cues from Metroid Prime. They even gave Master Chief a hook shot. I mean, a grapple beam. Which, I mean, it seems like all these shooters that are, quote-unquote, reinventing themselves keep on stealing shit from a first-person shooter from 2004. I think Metroid Prime came out 2004.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
So when in doubt, steal shit from Metroid Prime. You want to reinvigorate your first-person shooter? Steal shit from Metroid Prime. That's the best way to do it. Any other thoughts you guys have before we move on to the next topic?
I think I'm good.
All right. Next topic. This is from Bethesda. This is some Bethesda news. There's another remaster of Skyrim coming out. It's the Skyrim upgraded edition, which basically this means that this is what they're saying. It's going to have some next-gen upgrades for next-gen systems. And all the DLC from the Creation Club will also be included. So, for people like me who never bought shit off of the Creation Club, because I was like, this shit seems like a ripoff. This is a great day for me, because it means I can get either for free or like 10 or 15 bucks and upgrade and get all that extra content that if you were to buy it with their Bethesda bucks, would have cost hundreds of dollars. I get it for practic for $10 or $15. So that's great for me. But for the people who bought all that Creation Club shit, man, y'all got fucked. I feel sorry for you.
I was about to say, it's one thing to buy Bethesda games since they'd be buggy as F, but
Yeah.
being part of the Bethesda club and buying stuff from there, oh, oh god, you, I see one word in that person's life: sucker.
I mean, let me put it this way: Bethesda games are not good. Okay.
I know Bethesda games are not good, but I was saying if you're going to the Bethesda shop and buying stuff from there, then you probably are a bigger sucker than the people that are buying the Bethesda games without any mods.
Yeah, but Bethesda games are not good. I will be the first person to tell you that. However, when it comes to like, you know how people were buying that one game for the DS because they could use it to hack their DS to play other shit or to unlock features that Nintendo had locked away on their DS or 3DS. Well, the cool thing about Bethesda games is that like all the cool shit that the modding community has added to make them more playable. Like Oblivion, like Morrowind is a great game. Morrowind with mods is an excellent game. Skyrim is a shit game. Skyrim with mods is a great game. Like the single player campaign for Skyrim is a steaming pile of dog shit. Okay, it's terrible. But here's a kicker for you. There's a mod for the single. There's a mod that you can get that's like huge. It's a huge mod called Legacy of the Dragonborn, where basically it completely changes the single player campaign from being this poorly written power fantasy to turning your character into basically Indiana Jones. You become Indiana Jones, except set in this fantastical universe where you essentially are going out finding these relics, these dangerous relics to take back and put in a museum because, you know, they're too dangerous to be out in the wild. Like the entire impetus behind all of it is this belongs in a museum. And there's like a whole storyline. It integrates with other DLC and other mods. So it's like this mediocre ass game, thanks to the modding community, becomes a great game. And in some cases is an excellent game. And the sad thing about Bethesda games is that most of them are bullshit. And modders have to fix them. So, you know, that's the downside of Bethesda games is, you know, people have to fix their games. And that's not cool. You know, people shouldn't have to fix your fucking games.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, you know, that's like Nintendo saying, "Hey, we know this game is fucked up, but hear me out. Hear me out, bruh. You guys can fix it after it comes out." Like, why and what the fuck did I mean, it's the reason why I don't like player-generated content games. Like, you know, well, you can make your own fun. Motherfucker, I didn't spend $60 to make my own fun. Okay? I paid $60 for you to make the shit. Okay?
Yeah.
That's like going to a fine dining establishment that's $50 a plate, and you sit down and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, if you want your food, go into the kitchen and make it your own damn self." What the fuck did I pay you for? What if, well, you know, that's basically what that's basically the issue with Bethesda is that, you know, people have to fix their games, and that's not cool. To me, that's not cool. I know some people are like, "Oh, it doesn't bother me," but
I was about to say, it's one thing to fix games, it's another to generate your own game levels.
um,
But I get what you're going for.
I mean, okay, if a game is built around being a maker, like RPG Maker, Mario Maker to an extent, Platform Maker, like shit like that.
That feels like they're giving you a choice of meat, cuts, meats, and veggies and stuff, and they say make your own meal.
Yeah, but those are different because like Mario Maker, at its core is just it's a very streamlined and player friendly engine to make Mario levels. RPG Maker is literally just an engine to make RPG games. The same thing with Platformer Maker. Like those are engines to make games. So you're not really buying a game, you're buying an engine to make a game. And I don't have anything against that. But when someone releases a terrible game and they're like, well, our modding community is working on it. No. People don't spend full market price for some shit that other people have to fix. You fix this shit. You made it, you fix it. My only thing about the Skyrim Remaster is I hope that Bethesda fixes some of the bugs that have been inherent with each new re-release of Skyrim. Like, Skyrim Special Edition has, it essentially has bugs that have been in the game since the first release that Bethesda has never fixed. So if that isn't fixed, it's just going to be, well, I'm going to have to wait until the modding community takes up the task and ports over their fixes to the new system, to the new distribution of the game. Which is kind of sad, but, what are you going to do, But, anyway, let's see here. Anything else you guys want to say about a remaster of Skyrim?
This is why you guys have been waiting for Morrowind 6. They keep remaking Skyrim because
people keep on buying it.
They keep on buying it.
Yeah, people keep on buying it. Now, I know some people say, hey, Mr. Red Fox, don't you have the original Elder Scrolls? Don't you have Elder Scrolls Special Edition? Yeah, but I bought Elder Scrolls with all the DLC on sale for like $15 years ago. I got the upgrade to Special Edition for free because I had the original with all the DLC. And I'm guessing that even for people who have the Special Edition, the upgrade's probably going to be either free or like 10 or $15. So I'm not paying full market price for this shit. The people who this is really for are for those dumbasses who are going to buy the shit on the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and the PS5. That's who this shit's for. Because Bethesda, look, Bethesda doesn't fuck over PC gamers. Bethesda fucks over console gamers like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, they bend those poor bastards over and stick it in. And they don't give no warning either. Anyway, next, getting back into an old MMO. I see that Kenoshi's getting into Final Fantasy 14. He said that it's really enjoyable. I've never played Final Fantasy 14 or Final Fantasy 11.
MMORPGs are a little bit of a dangerous water, if I got it right.
Not really. If you just know how to prioritize.
As in, it's time. As in, it'll be a time sink if you're not careful about it.
I mean, if you have the free time, because the thing is this, like Final Fantasy 14 is a bit grindier than I would personally like. Like really,
it is grindy.
Yeah, because 11 was really fucking grindy. Like like I remember playing. Well, I lied. I've played 11, but I remember playing 11 when it first came out, and I remember having to get doing a raid of like 50 players to take on a low-level enemy because it was so poorly balanced as an MMO. And then half the party getting wiped out by a low-level enemy because the game was just so fucking poorly balanced as an MMO. 14 is a little bit better, especially if they rebooted the game, the game, and went to a completely different direction. I'm okay with that. With that being said, I recently got back into SWTOR, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying SWTOR. I know some people are gonna be like, "What? What do you mean you're enjoying SWTOR?" I like SWTOR. I like it. It's
Yeah, I've actually heard good things about it.
yeah. I mean, especially now, because when I first bought that game, I bought it when it came out years ago, and I maxed out a character because at the time the level max was 50. Recently got back in that game. I went to a planet that when I was level 50, I was steamrolling everything on the fucking planet. Went up to a random enemy, got my ass handed to me. My level
Silver
50
plate
character.
or gold plate?
Just got this motherfucker murdered my ass. I was like, shit. I need to respect this character. Yeah, I felt kind of bad about it actually. I was like, shit, I it's been a while. I need to get back into it. So I started a new character. All my old characters are still there, which I'm happy about. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into it and leveling up and completing another character to add to the legacy. I think like my issues with SWTOR that I used to hate, because my issue with SWTOR when it first came out was I was pissed that the game wasn't like KOTOR. But then I realized this game isn't attempting to be like KOTOR. It's attempting to be World of Warcraft with a different skin, with a better story, and that's it. If you've played World of Warcraft, then this is basically what you're playing. You're playing World of Warcraft with a Star Wars skin, in a better story. Because it does have a better story than StarCraft. I mean, the Warcraft. I don't care what anyone tells you. Although, if World of Warcraft wants to be cool, you know what Blizzard should do? Make a StarCraft MMO. Because it's already a StarCraft MMO. A StarCraft MMO already has built-in races. It already has built-in classes. It has a deep story. You can be a Terran. The Terran has two factions: the Confederacy and the Confederation, and the Rebels, right? And then you've got like the Zerg, which basically don't have the Zerg. You have like the Hive, and then you have the Rebel Hive, which is led by Kerrigan. And then you have like the Protoss, with the Dark Protoss and the normal Protoss. And there you go. Like, you could play the game. You could choose a class. You could class up. It'd be kind of cool. You could have your melee class, because you'd have like the Protoss Zealot with their little energy swords. The game could work. But Blizzard needs to get their own shit together before they try and make another MMO. I think we can all agree on that. They got to clean their house before they can do shit for anybody else.
I was gonna say that with what's going on right now, I'm not sure Warcraft's gonna be able to live much longer if this keeps up.
Well, I mean, they look like I said. The only way they can fix this is there's going to have to be a major house cleaning at the top levels. Like I said,
I would say Blizzard already took that punch. Now it's Activision's turn.
Blizzard didn't take that punch. Blizzard fired some people as sacrificial lambs. I mean, the people at the top of Activision Blizzard, the whole company, Bobby Kotick, that entire board of motherfuckers at the top, gone.
That seems like the people that made up Blizzard at the beginning are basically gone.
Yeah, J. Allen Brack was a sacrificial lamb. Okay, J. Allen Brack was someone. I'm not saying that he's blameless. I'm just saying that they were like, what's the highest profile person that we can sacrifice and still keep the machine running? And they were like, we'll go with J. Allen Brack. But yeah, Activision Blizzard, they're gonna have to fire all the people at the top, or have them tender their resignations and then start say we're gonna bring in an interim CEO to clean house, and then we're going to put new people on, get new board members and get our shit together. That's the only way that they can really fix this issue, because I don't see them getting out of this without there being a massive cleaning house like that. That's the only way. It's the only way forward. But let's keep it moving. Next topic. Actually, we were talking about the next topic, which was Activision Blizzard fucking up. Activision Blizzard fucking up yet again. So basically, there's another lawsuit, a third lawsuit that's been drawn against Activision Blizzard. Content creators who used to cover World of Warcraft on various streaming sites are saying fuck you to Activision Blizzard's games. Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, gone. It's just not. It's not good. It's not good. It's not looking good. So I mean, I guess. I mean, you guys have any thoughts on it? Any ideas?
So the makers of Diablo, StarCraft, and World of Warcraft are looking like they're becoming a sinking ship. And with all of this, I'm wondering when is the head of Activision going to take that lethal shot, because it's either it's either World of Warcraft or them, and I'm guessing they don't want to get off the ship.
I mean, if they keep on losing players and money like they are, it's going to be pretty obvious that Bobby Kotick's going to have to step down. Because that's the only thing that can be done at that point. And the entire board, they're going to have to go. And I don't really feel sorry for him. Fuck him. I mean, it's really hard for me to feel sorry for a dude who this year gave himself a bonus of $185 million, even though the board voted it down. So, I mean, can anyone here muster up any real sympathy for Bobby Kotick, really?
Nah.
Poor Bobby Kotick. Yeah, poor millionaire. Poor millionaire.
Yeah, poor millionaire. I like being sarcastic.
So,
the only thing I hear about Final Fantasy is what they do is they bar you out of missions. You gotta be at level 10 to do this mission. you're at level 8 or 9. It's like that. You should let the player come up with a strategy to, you know, outwit mission restrictions.
Yeah, it's too grindy. It's one of the flaws with GTA that game is that it is really fucking grindy, unnecessarily grindy. That was an issue with the previous MMO 11 was that it was just too fucking grindy.
That's why I'm thinking about getting into Guild Wars. That game looks really fun to play. Doing watching a couple videos on it, it's like, yeah, that game looks pretty fun.
Yeah, and it doesn't like you just buy the game once and you can play it.
Yeah, I ended up doing that at some point.
Yeah, shit isn't so isn't too, you know, fucking you over. But anyway, that's my opinion. I have Guild Wars. I have Guild Wars. I haven't played Guild Wars in years. Personally, this is just my own little personal opinion. I would love to play. I would love to play. I would get Guild. I would buy Guild Wars again when it comes to Steam.
Yeah.
Because then I could have all my shit together. But then they got mad. They're like, "Oh, we can't do that." I was like, "Come on, man. We're gonna wait." I'm like, "Fuck, don't do that."
Companies are weird. I think they don't want to give Steam their cut. They don't want to. What's it, like a 30% cut for everything that's sold?
Yeah, it's 30, but I mean, you reach such a huge audience that 30%, you're gonna make up for that by reaching that bigger audience.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean it's true, but yeah. At some point, it's just not going to really matter anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, Final Fantasy 14. I mean, personally, the best MMO to me would be one that has the scope of, say, that has the storytelling of a SWTOR with the not fucking you over with subscription models of Guild Wars 2 or Guild Wars, with the actually listening to the players of Final Fantasy 14. And that would be the best. Notice I didn't say World of Warcraft anywhere fucking in there. Because World of Warcraft is just a dumpster fire. It's been a dumpster fire for years.
Well, the thing about World of Warcraft is, talking to people that have played that game for years, is it started getting really stale the last few years.
And the storytelling, which was lackluster anyway, has just gotten worse. Because here's what people don't realize: it's an MMORPG. Which also means a role-playing game. You need some reason beyond just levels to get people to keep on fighting and doing whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I reached this level. It doesn't fucking matter, bro. Doesn't matter.
A lot of World of Warcraft is just a social experience, more so than, But yeah, that I can see that being annoying.
It's like, oh man, I'm playing with my friends. Look how high my levels are. It's like, does it matter? For real, bro? Does it fucking matter? Anyway, let's move on to the final topic. Actually, that was let's get to these free topics. So we have a couple of free topics. The first one is almost a decade after shutting down, Kurt Schilling's 38 Studios is finally paying their former employees their severance pay.
Wait. After how long?
Almost a decade.
A decade
Yep.
for severance pay.
Yep.
I'm not sure if to say finally or you're still a dick.
I mean, I mean, I agree.
I s-
I agree.
yeah, because it's holding back some certain pay for 10 years. It's worth a finally, but it's also worth you're still a dick for doing that stunt because that's years of payments that could have went to something important to somebody, but was held back. Could have been vacation time. Could have been a house payment. Could have been a barbecue.
I agree. They fucking they stole those people's money. I mean, they didn't pay those people, and those poor people, they lost their shit. They got fucked over.
So who paid who severance package finally?
Well, basically, what happened was is that like finally, the people who worked at 38 Studios who lost their job and didn't get their severance money and their paychecks are finally getting their money almost 10 years after the fact.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it wasn't cool. It was not cool at all. Um,
So what? I've heard rumblings of stories about that studio, and that's the people that make Kingdom of Amalur.
yep.
Yeah, so I guess they overpromised and underdelivered as it pertains to the shareholders.
I mean, really, what hurt 38 Studios, believe it or not, was just a lot of financial mismanagement. Like, okay, before they even released Kingdoms of Amalur, they were also working on an MMO. Okay, this small studio that had
Yeah.
not released anything was working on an MMO. And as we all know, MMOs are like the most expensive games to make. Okay,
Yeah, it's like making a console.
I wouldn't go that far, but if you want to
Well,
release an MMO,
in terms of software, it's harder, but
if you want to release an MMO, you have to have enough content in the pipeline once you release the game for at least 5 years after the fact. Okay? Which means, essentially speaking, if your game costs 200 million to make the base game, you need another 200 million on top of that in terms of budget to pay the people to make the content for the next 5 years to come out every year, or every year and 6 months, whatever. Okay? Year and 18 months, whatever. That is like, and most people, that's expensive. That's a $500 million. Okay? And that's like a mid-tier MMO. That's like Final Fantasy 14. Okay?
don't get us started about those ones that would have a cost of 2 million each year of production.
yeah, and those are small. That's small potatoes. So MMOs are very expensive to make. They're very expensive to support. But when you get an MMO that is successful, you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's high risk, high reward. And this was a studio that was filled with a lot of new people, a very few veterans, but a lot of new people trying to make an MMO. And they were like,
that would go as well as trying to get a royal flush on your very first game of poker.
yeah, and you've never played it before. You've heard of it, but you've never actually played it. So that was like they took a lot of money in terms of grants and tax rebates to open up a studio, and they spend a lot of that money on an MMO that has never seen the light of day. Okay, so that was like a lot of money that could have been used on a single player game to get things rolling and bring in some capital. They spent it on working on an MMO. So this just shows that the people running 38 Studios really did not know what the fuck they were doing. Right? And it makes sense because Kurt Schilling, when he was talking about creating 38 Studios, like, yeah, well, I like playing games with my kids. So I could tell that he really liked playing games with his kids, but just because you like playing games doesn't mean you know how to make games or fund games, because it's a business. So anyway, like, I don't think it was like financial malfeasance. We're gonna steal these people's money and fuck them. I don't think it was that, but I think that it was just people not knowing what the fuck they were doing. So then
that's at least a more forgivable crime than what some other companies have done.
Yeah, so it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's just, it's shady. Like, okay, it's bad management. It's not like, fuck these people. Ah! Even though Kurt Schilling, like, some of his political views, I'm like, this dude is fucking crazy. But take that aside, I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint. So then they came out with they made Kingdoms of Amalur. They took a lot of the assets from the single player game, from the MMO, and they put it into Kingdoms of Amalur. And that game came out and it sold over like 1 point. Let me look it up. Kingdoms of Amalur unit sales. Yeah, it had to sell. It had to sell 3 million to break even. But I don't think that's because the game cost that much to make. I think it's because they spent a lot of money working on that fucking MMO. Like, money that should have been going into a single player game went to the MMO, and an MMO that never came out. So so basically, yeah. But it sold 1.2 million copies in its first like 3 months. So, you know, it wasn't like, the game wasn't a flop. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, people are like, this game is terrible. It flopped. 1.2 million for a new IP is not a flop. You know, that's, you know, now if it's an IP that's been out for a long time, like, you know, if Need for Speed comes out and it only sells 1.2 million, that's a flop. For a new IP, 1.2 million is not a flop. 1.2 is like, oh, well, you know, it's a new game.
Yeah,
People haven't heard of it. It's pretty good.
people's expectations are really weird when it comes to games these days, as it pertains to how much they should sell.
Well, I mean, like I said, the Rhode Island governor, who basically gave them pushed through a grant to get them to open their studio in Rhode Island, said that it had to sell 3 million. I don't think that game was ever going to sell 3 million. I think what happened is that the money that they gave, the tax rebates and the grant that they gave that studio, a lot of that money went to making the MMO. And then after the fact, they were like, shit, we need to make something because it's going to take a while to come out. The MMOs take time. And that's when they came out with Amalur. And Amalur was never going to make 3 million. It was pretty good. I liked Amalur. I had it on PS3. I bought it on PC. I bought Re-Reckoning after Deep Silver bought it, or THQ Nordic, whoever the fuck owns it now. I like the game. I think if they made an Amalur 2 and had kept that combat system, that'd be great. Because Amalur has one of the best combat systems I've ever played in an action RPG. Fable wishes it had a combat system as good as that.
Yeah, the story is complete ass, but the combat system and some of the other stuff the game had was pretty good.
I mean, the story, like, I thought the story was pretty good. It wasn't terrible. Like, here's what I'll say about Amalur: the gameplay systems aren't very well implemented. Like, how essentially if you max out your ability to pick locks, or your ability to persuade people, if you max out or to like use magic abilities to disable curses and shit on items and treasure chests and shit, caches, like all that shit, like there's always a chance that you'll fail. So there's dice roll underneath the thing, which is fine and dandy in real life, but this is a video game. If I max out my skills to pick a lock, I should be able to pick a lock like at 100% every time, all the time, every time.
It's still an RNG. It's still like an
yeah,
RNG thing
yeah. They did that in the game, and it just was not very well implemented. But they built an interesting world, and there were some interesting things going on in it. And the story was pretty interesting. Like, it's like, okay, you're in this world where as soon as you're born, what you're gonna do and how you're gonna die is already set in stone. And you can go see these fate weavers who will tell you what you're going to do in your life and how you're going to die. And yet you're this character who came back to life, and you literally you beat fate. So you can not only can you change your own fate, you can change other people's fates. That's an interesting premise. The story about how that happened and the world building and stuff like that, interesting premise. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to see a sequel to Kingdoms of Amalur 2, which is kind of sad, because, like I said, there was some interesting shit going on there, but whatever. That's my own personal opinion. The gameplay systems, like I said, weren't very well implemented. That's the issue. Like, Kingdoms of Amalur had some great gameplay, but man, the
what?
How can I put the gameplay was great, but the gameplay systems, the RPG gameplay systems, felt like some shit from 1998 or 96. Yeah. It was kind of the flaw with the game. It just kind of, it's like, dude, this is cool, but why the fuck is it?
Yeah. No, that's a shame. That game came out. Yeah, that game came out roughly 10 years ago too.
Yeah. But, I get tired of people like, oh, this is terrible. This game was hard. It wasn't. Come on, man. The game wasn't a flop. It's not terrible. Stop with that shit. Okay, there's, believe me, there's worse shit in there's worse shit in there's worse shit in there's worse shit in there. I don't know why people always like, oh, this is terrible. It's like, come on, man, calm the fuck down. It's not, it's not, this is not the worst game ever. Okay, calm the fuck down, chill the fuck out. Like I said, I would love for there to be a sequel. There probably never will be, but it would be awesome if there were, in my humble opinion. But that's enough about that. Let's see, what other... there was a nice 12-minute long Black Myth Wukong trailer. For those of you who don't know, Black Myth Wukong, we saw a trailer for this last year. that looked
Oh, that
fucking
game was
gorgeous. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Unreal 4. Well, the guy just put out another trailer saying, "Oh, I switched engines to Unreal 5,
Oh, well. Should be
and it looks even better." And you get to play as the original version of Sun Wukong, not that Goku, not that Son Goku shit. The original, the original Sun Wukong, with his celestial rod, beating the shit out of demons. You know, like, you know, the inspiration for Goku, um, or should I say, what Akira Toriyama just stole all of Sun Wukong's shit, and then plastered a layer of Superman on top of it, and there you got Goku from Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. But this is the original. His celestial rod, his shape changing abilities. Hopefully, they'll have the ability. They'll have the story of Sun Wukong breaking into the temple, the profligate temple where all of the holy people had gone, were full of shit and peed in the sacred wine jars. So yeah, this is holy elixir. You guys should drink it. It'll make you immortal.
Oh, it'll be immortal. Oh, something's gonna be immortal, all right.
Yeah, if you read the Journey to the West, the unadulterated version, it is really good. It is really good. It's one of the great works of literature. You guys should, if you ever get a chance, read it. It's really good. But yeah, he did that. The Monkey King did that shit. Matter of fact, that's most of Journey to the West. Book one is actually really cool because it tells the birth of Sun Wukong and how he basically goes to the heavens and how they insult him by making him like the stable keeper. So he's basically shoveling out horse shit in stables, and how he becomes super immortal by eating all the 3,000-year-old peaches, the 3,000-year immortal peaches. He eats all of them in the orchard, and then how they try to kill him. They lock him in a furnace and they try to burn him for like hundreds of years, like at least hundreds of years. Because in the book they say 7 times 7 times 49 days. So basically hundreds of years. They lock him in a furnace and they try to burn him to death. But let's not forget, Sun Wukong, before he took his name, was called Stone Monkey. So he's made out of stone, like celestial rock. So that shit didn't do shit to him. Except the only thing they did do was piss him off. they pissed him off. And that's how Sun Wukong had gained his red eyes, because basically he was in there so long that like his eyes turned red from being in this furnace for so long. Then he gets out and he got his celestial rod and beat the shit out of all the gods in Buddhist heaven. Like all of them. They couldn't do shit. They were like, what are we gonna do? Pow! Sit your ass down. Make me the stable master laughing at me. Pow! Fuck you, bitch. It takes Lord Buddha himself to punish Sun Wukong. I always thought it would be cool to do an alternate take on that where he defeats Buddha and then realizes, oh shit, I defeated Buddha. So like basically the Uber god who protects our world from like outer space monstrosities, now I gotta go out into space and protect the world from that shit. Damn it. I hate this. That could have been an interesting story, but no. Journey to the West is about how, you must unbind yourself from ego and become a better person and all that shit. Anyway, it's really awesome, and you guys should read it if you get a chance. Like people always keep on saying, I want Goku in Smash Brothers. Man, motherfucker Goku. I want to see Sun Wukong in Smash Brothers. He would kill everybody. Like Ganon, Link, all the Fire Emblem characters, Pit, Palutena, all of them. Simon Belmont. Because he's the Monkey King. But anyway, Journey to the West. If you guys get a chance, read it. It's really fucking awesome. Maybe one of the best. One of the best works of literature of all time. Western, not Western, yeah, Eastern, yeah, Eastern literature.
Eastern, yeah. Chinese for that matter.
Yeah, it's Chinese literature. It's really good. Like I said, one of the best. If not, I mean, might not be the best. I mean, I guess Sun Tzu's Art of War maybe one of the best attributes to, or the musings of the teachings of Confucius. But Journey to the West is really good. It's just you got to find a good translation of it. Like if you're like, and I know some people don't like to read long books, but if you're going to read Journey of the West, you probably need to get the version that's divided up into 3 different books.
Oh yeah.
Because if you read the version that's been adulterated and had shit cut out and combined, it's not the same. It's like the version of watching a movie that's unrated or the director's cut versus watching the version that's been cut for TV, especially for something that's rated R. It's like, man, why this dude in the movie theater said motherfucker, and yet here in the TV version he's saying monkey lover. What? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. I'm tired of these monkey loving snakes on this monkey loving plane. What are you talking about, monkey lover? It's like, I know Sam Jackson didn't say that. How dare you, sir? How dare you? But anyway.
Just bleep it out if you don't like. I get why they do that, but just bleep it out.
Normally I would agree with you, but some films,
some things are best left unfiltered, right?
Yeah, some things the cursing is part of, like, the scene. Like Pulp Fiction. If you bleeped out the cursing in Pulp Fiction or any Tarantino film, the scene loses a lot of its narrative gravitas. Like,
I'm just saying if you're gonna show it on TV.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you're not allowed to say on television.
Yeah, like PG-13, you're only allowed to say fuck once in a PG-13 film. Nowadays, see, PG-13 when we were kids, I don't know how old Kenoshi is, but Jewel and I, we're old enough to remember when PG-13 first came about. PG-13 when we were kids is completely different from the shit you guys got now. PG-13...
I have to say, PG-13 used to be something like the Gremlins.
Yeah, and Gremlins...
I remember seeing the movie Ghost, which is PG-13.
Yeah, that movie's R.
They were dropping MF. They were dropping MF first.
Yeah.
They were dropping F-bombs in that movie.
That movie is an R. Like Ghost is an R-rated, should be an R-rated movie. Gremlins should be an R-rated movie. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is a PG-13 movie. That movie has some shit in it that, like, I'm like, this shit is not for... kids shouldn't be watching this. Okay? Because in that movie, a man is tortured and has his heart ripped out. And he's sacrificed. That shit is not for kids. Okay? That shit is not for kids. This is not for kids. And yet, hey, PG-13. Yeah! PG-13. Yeah! You know? Like, there's a lot of shit. There's some shit that we had when we were kids. Like, Ice Pirates is a PG-13 movie. And yet it has a guy perving on a woman who's in cryogenic stasis. It has a guy... It has that same character looking up a woman's dress who takes this drug that makes you float. It has the 2 main characters being put in this machine that basically castrates male prisoners to make them docile so that they can be turned into like butlers and servants. Like, but hey, PG-13. PG-13. It has a scene where this egg hatches, and it's a riff off of Alien, but inside the egg is a space parasite, is a space STD called space herpes. But hey, PG-13. I mean, hell, Spaceballs is PG-13. That movie's
and that thing is basically a Star Wars joke poke session.
Yeah, but everything in that movie, like I'd say 50% of the jokes in that movie are dick jokes. Their dick jokes are blowjob jokes or sex jokes. Like literally, the President Scrooge, when the film starts, he's not when it starts, but in like later on in the film, he's fucking around with a pair of twins. And in another film, in another part of the movie, they transform the Spaceball 1 into Mega Maid. And here's the thing: Mega Maid has 2 modes. She can suck or she can blow. Come on, man. We all know what they're talking about. Like, here's all I'm saying, okay? The main character's abilities are called the Schwartz. Schwartz is a Yiddish word that is synonymous with your dick, okay?
There it is.
And that's the joke. It's like, oh, well, every Schwartz has 2 sides, an upside and a downside. Yeah, Yoda got the upside, I got the downside. Yeah. I mean, yogurt. Yogurt got the upside, I got the downside.
So well, it gets me to groan when I think about it. I mean, seriously.
PG-13.
Not only is that a Star Wars joke, but a dick joke.
Yeah, or Mog. I'm half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend. And of course, everyone's favorite joke. My favorite joke in that movie is when there's the President Scrooge says, "You hear me? Comb the desert." It's like, okay, and they're in the desert, and people have combs, and the guy's like, "Are you sure we should be doing that?" Hey, he said, "Comb the desert." They're combing the desert. Hey, you guys find anything? We haven't found anything. And the 2 black guys have this huge pick, and they stop and say, "We've been here all day, and I ain't found shit."
Oh, God. The joke. I thought your jokes would be one of the more cleaner ones, or
no,
one.
It's one of the best jokes in the film because it's so out of left field. And I mean, it's just setting up because they have 2 black guys with a pick combing the desert. Okay. And the white guys are like negative, and the black Spaceball guy's like, "Man, we've been here all day and I ain't found shit." Okay, it's like, and here's fun fact for you: the black guy who says that line is Tim Russ, who would later go on to play Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager. So he's been in a lot of science fiction. But anyway, we've gotten to the end of the podcast where we nominate our a-hole of the week. Who wants to go first?
I'm tempted to go with the Pokemon Company for me, but
for that lackluster ass announcement.
For mostly what I got with Legends Arceus, but yeah. But I was gonna say, did Activision Blizzard do anything more stupid today?
Well, I mean, they won't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. No. Okay, anyway, so go ahead.
So, if anything, my vote goes to Activision Blizzard if they did something stupid again.
All right.
But,
Kanuki?
but if not, it's going to Pokemon
Probably,
Company.
probably Activision.
Okay. Activision Blizzard. Okay, so
I got a split vote because I wasn't sure if they did something else to make themselves be on the hit list this week.
they just won't stop. They won't stop fucking up. They can't help themselves. They just can't. They won't stop. They can't stop. Won't stop.
Yeah.
Big boy. Big boy.
They love the spotlight. And if they're wanting the spotlight that badly, oh boy.
Anyway.
As I said, if they haven't done anything stupid to this week to speak out about them, then we could at least give the Pokemon Company a peek. But that's about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna have to go with Activision Blizzard. I was gonna say Bethesda because they're re-releasing Skyrim yet again, and it's probably not gonna be fixed. But I can't jump on that until we find out what's in the new re-release of Skyrim. So I'm not gonna, I can't go off of supposition. I have to go on what's there. Concretely, Activision Blizzard is still fucking up. So yeah, Activision Blizzard is the asshole of the week. I think unanimously, Activision Blizzard is the asshole of the week. So, with that being said, Activision Blizzard asshole of the week. Anything you guys want to pimp out? Anything you guys want to? We have a little bit of time before we close out. Anything you guys are like? Oh, I got to talk about this. Anything?
So far, I'm just gonna ask this: how likely do you think it's gonna be before the Steam Deck gets OS swapped?
You mean like they add new? Well, I mean, if you get the top of the line version, you can add all types of cool new shit to it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that because I was checking out some videos saying that if they change the OS, then it might be able to give us more or less power to work with than what the original OS is going to be.
Okay. I mean, I think that as soon as it comes out, it's going to be an emulation machine. I think people are going to add like all types of mods to it, like software mods to it, hardware mods to it. People are going to do that shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was saying that that you think it's going to be a bigger boon or bigger bust when it comes to adding more different OSs.
I think it's going to be a good thing. Like, here's the thing. Like if you're looking at this from if you're treating the Steam Deck like it's basically a super Switch, then you're not understanding what the Steam Deck is really going to be. The Steam Deck is really attractive to people who already own a fucking who already have a lot of Steam shit. Like if you already game a lot on PC, game a lot on PC, the Steam Deck is great because you can basically play your games anywhere in your house using streaming, or take your games other places with you, and that's really useful for a lot of people. The reason I'm getting a Steam Deck is just because, like, I want to be able to carry my Steam games all over the place. And I got the top of the line version, the 650 version, because I was like, I want to be able to, like I can put a like it's gonna come with Steam OS on the SD. I mean, on the solid state drive on the SSD. But then I can put a 256 gig or even half terabyte micro SD card in there and put Windows on that, and I can do both. Like, there's a lot of like, because of the openness nature, open platform of because it's basically a mini PC and it's open. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You're not beholden to a certain OS or a certain thing. Like, and I like that, and I think a lot of people who are getting the Steam Deck are probably going to be like that. Plus, you can play all you can put on the Windows side of it. You can put Epic, you can put your GOG, and you can play your shit. You can stream your shit through that on there. So, the sky is the limit. I mean, the sky is the limit, but there's some cool shit in there. So, what do you guys think about it?
For me, I consider it a mixed bag because depending on what kind of OS is being used, it could either be a watered down PC that that you could put in your pocket, or it could be something pretty interesting with all kinds of programs in it.
Fair. I mean, I get what you're saying.
As I said, it depends on the OS being put into it.
I mean, the base OS is Steam OS, which is a derivative of Linux. Linux is really good for Linux is really good for fixing a lot of shit. So so that's good, right? So anyway, Kadoshi, you have anything you want to add before we wrap things up? Yes, no, maybe so?
No, I don't have anything.
All right. That's the end of the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Ring that bell icon to know when we are and new content is coming to the channel. Thank you for joining. I'd like to thank my panelists for joining. We had some really great discussions here. Talked about some really cool shit. Join us next time this Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat place. 7:30 p.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. Thank you for lending me your time. And peace and good night.
And don't forget to hype responsibly.
That is correct.